Hello everyone. What we learned in the last section is women wear whole clothing and men's clothing in Tang Dynasty. Now the main content of this course will be the great integration of costume culture in Yuan Dynasty, the weaving gold fabric. It is still uncertain that what the gold has been added to Chinese silk fabrics. Generally speaking, the weaving of gold was already used in the Eastern Han Dynasty at the latest. The records of the grand history, 史记, and the history of the Han Dynasty, 汉书, both said that the Xiongnu is an ancient nationality in China. Xiongnu people in the northwest did not like to pearls and jade but brocade. Since the Han Dynasty, the government has given Xiongnu chiefs many brocade gifts every year. China has also traded horses and jade, brocade and other silk fabrics to Dawan and lowland countries, among which there is gold fabric. From the 6 dynasties to the end of the Tang Dynasty, the gold stripes, jinlan, in the Buddhist status have affected the clothing of aristocratic women. However, the position of gold and silver in silk fabrics has always been less important than color embroidery and brocade. At the end of Tang Dynasty and the 5 dynasties, the silk fabrics with gold were further developed. At that time, it was very common to describe gold used in women's clothing in poems. During the Song Dynasty, the government repeatedly issued a ban on gold-woven clothing, which also reflected the large amount of gold used in fabrics. Although the technology of adding gold to fabrics became mature in Song Dynasty, with 18 kinds of gold weaving, twisting, and other methods, the real prevalence of adding gold fabrics was still in the Yuan Dynasty. Gold fabric was added in Yuan Dynasty, which was called Na Shi Shi at that time. There were also many different ways of writing, which may be an erroneous translation of Persian, which was also popular in Persia at the time, with a gold brocade called Na Shi Shi. The prosperity of gold-plated fabrics in Yuan Dynasty was influenced by the Jin people. Over a ground of gray silk, teardrop units are brocaded with gold thread. Each of the teardrops depicts a swan flying among floral sprays. The swan is showing its elegant movement, as if not detecting an imminent danger from above. A falcon, ready to dive and attach. The predator is shown as strikingly small. A typical feature of an important breed of hunting falcon called East Sea Blue, 海东青. A close view of the back of the textile reveals its weaving structure. Brocade textiles of Liao Dynasty. This piece of silk embroidered with gold on a red background also came from the craftsmen of the Jin Dynasty. The prosperity of gold fabric in Yuan Dynasty was not only inherited the habit of juken, but also related to the cultural level, decoration hobby, and artistic understanding of Mongolian people at that time. More importantly, due to the expansion of national power at that time, the government of the conquered Juken, Xixia, Southern Song Dynasty, and the people of the whole country obtained a large amount of gold. The Yuan Dynasty used a new economic strategy to absorb gold with a large amount of paper money, thus occupying a huge amount of gold and becoming the material basic for the mass production of gold and brocade. The rulers of the Yuan dynasty wore a large number of gold-brocade costumes, which shows the ruler's luxury and authority. Secondly, the golden brocade was used as a reward and to make official uniforms. Based on the records in the history of Yuan dynasty, Yuan Shi, the emperor of the Yuan dynasty gave 12,000 ministers golden robes on anniversary festivals every year, 13 times a year, thus showing the huge amount needed. The history of the Yuan dynasty also recorded that emperor's winter zhisun seals were classified as 11 grades. There were several kinds of zhisunfu made of na shi shi. Officials' winter clothing was classified as 9 grades, and many were sewn with na shi shi. In the Yuan dynasty, not only silk fabrics, but also wool fabrics were added with gold, called wool satin, which was woven in a real set. The coat and hat of rulers and officials are made of woven gold, and the tabernacle of officials above grade 3 is also made of woven gold. Lamaism prevailed at that time, and all the robes and tents used by Lama were made by gold brocade. Marco Polo's travels, 马可波罗游记, recorded that weaving gold was used as a military camp at that time. It lasted for several miles, and its luxury was conceivable. Different from the gold adding technology, there are 捻金, twisted gold thread, 印金, glue and powdered gold printing, and 片金, flick gold, wisp of gold silk, as well as plain gold 平金, plate gold 盘金, and whole gold 整金, used for small amount of embroidery, among which the flick gold dominates the most. The designs range from the ancient turtle back pattern to persimmon, solitary nest, and connected nest in Tang Dynasty, as well as the cloud and wind, dancing crane, scattered flowers, and colored flowers, sketching flowers in Song Dynasty. The patterns and colors are rich and varied. Most 缂丝 use gold color, which is the characteristics of Yuan Dynasty. It can be said that by the Yuan Dynasty, China's gold weaving clothing developed to a comprehensive level with all-encompassing characteristics. Okay, that's all the content of this course. The content of next course will be the auspicious patterns on costume in Ming Dynasty. See you next course.